I'm not myself. Feel like I'm someone else. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Mathwiz here, and today, some of you wanted this video, so we're gonna do it. Today, I'm gonna react to some of my original videos on this channel, and we're gonna see how that goes. Apologies for, my face is half in shadow, but you know this by now. I don't even really, have a lighting setup. I just have this light that I use. The light, the all descending light from the heavens, it's, that's what I work with here. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of reaction videos because you just take someone else's content and put it in the corner and just kind of stare at a screen for X amount of time, however long that video is. But it's considering this is my content, I can't really steal from myself, so I'm okay with it. All right, so we're gonna start with Naruto is terrible yet fascinating, and as you can see, I've already gone ahead and changed the title here, and so is this video. Because that was my way of saying, hey, don't watch this video. It's pretty bad. But yeah, let's just jump right into it.
Naruto is a fucking journey. Trying to watch the series.
Already, just the tone of my voice. I don't know why I felt the need to. Okay, I know why. I sound super aggressive in these videos, mainly because I think I'm just trying to make sure that I'm projecting my voice well, because I'm used to, on my wrestling videos, I do a lot of just yelling, so I'm used to just, talking loud, and, I figured, oh, well, if I want to try to get across a scripted video, I need to project my voice well, I need to say what I want to say well. If it just comes off as really, aggressive, Naruto is a journey! Also, this was back when I tried, I didn't know what I wanted to do for pronunciations, so I was like, Naruto, and, some of the, I still don't quite know how I want to pronounce things. Some of the times I'll, flip back and forth, but, I'm getting off on a
series
tangent.
In its entirety is like trying to swim through oil with both of your arms and legs tied together.
Good
At
simile.
its worst, the show falters with inconsistent animation.
And already, okay, so... I know that thing with pain has been memed, and that's kind of that was just the easiest thing I could think of to use footage for that. When I did say inconsistent animation, I was very careful not to say bad animation, because when I said inconsistent, I meant that, the styles are switching. For that pain fight in particular, I wasn't a fan of the animation style just because it looks like a Looney Tunes cartoon or something. It's really goofy, and this is supposed to be one of the most, intense moments for Naruto in the series. This is the big... the Pain arc is my favorite arc, and this is supposed to be, a big, sort of ideological clash between Pain and Naruto, and also he's undergoing, the full Nine Tails transformation, so that's kind of dramatic, but with this art style, I think it was supposed to be more expressive, be more, out there, but it just looks kind of goofy with, the Pain fight. But yeah, still... You probably shouldn't have used that clip for inconsistent animation.
A plethora of underdeveloped or downright useless characters, and pacing so poor that even the manga has filler.
I still
Do we
can't
really
stand this
need
tone.
all of these reaction shots? Why did you just show me 6 minutes of recap footage from the previous episode? How am I supposed to follow this fight when we keep constantly cutting away to backstories and flashbacks? Yet here...
I'm still overly aggressive, but at least, I showed examples beyond just... This show has bad pacing. I at least gave reasons why I thought that the pacing was bad.
Yet here I am, almost 700 episodes into the series, and I have to ask myself, why? I could have finished nearly 30 different 12-episode anime before even reaching Naruto's halfway point, but I didn't. Instead, I continued to plunge into this seemingly endless tunnel until I finally found the other side. Now that I've reached the end, I have to ask myself, was it worth it?
Now that I've read the manga, yes. Because obviously for the Nen show, I went back and I read all of Naruto. My opinions on it have, they're not the same as in this video. But yes, past Mathwiz, keep going. Try to persuade me that Naruto is terrible, yet fascinating.
In many ways, no. Characters I once cheered for had been shoved to the background in exchange for boring...
Okay. Hold on. Gaara... more of a background character, but Gaara is still, a pretty relevant character, for the majority of the series. Out of all the side characters, I don't think Gaara is one of the biggest examples I could have gone with. Also, Sai, not as boring or as useless as I recall him being. Yamato, yes, Yamato is... Who is Yamato? But Sai's a pretty good character. He's obviously a side character, but I don't know, there's something going with him. Like, he at least, I don't know, check out the Nensho. I'm not going to elaborate too in depth here.
Lifeless stand-ins, technical calculated fights became magical over-the-top wastelands, and the final villain changed 3 times.
Okay, to be fair, at least, like, the whole Toby Madara thing had been set up. Like, Kishimoto did clearly drop hints that Madara was going to be a character in the series, and he did drop hints that Toby was not the real Madara, but Kaguya is still terrible.
Naruto is not the best that anime has to offer. Hell, it's not even the best that Shonen Jump has to offer. Yet, after finally concluding this train wreck that I've invested so much time into, I do feel somewhat satisfied. At its best, Naruto is chock full of unique designs, creative abilities and applications of those techniques, entertaining character dynamics and interactions, and breathtaking fight scenes. It has also produced one of my favorite tournament arcs and one of the most iconic rivalries in all of anime. Rock Lee's underdog story motivated me. I could empathize with Naruto's wish to be accepted by his peers. Gaara's sand power was fascinating. I loved the dynamic of Shikamaru being incredibly smart, yet unmotivated. While the Shippuden section of the story would utterly fail at keeping most of these characters relevant or engaging, I can still recall my strong interest in the various personalities like Orochimaru, Kabuto, Jiraiya, Kakashi, Might Guy, Itachi, Kisame, Kankuro, Tamari, Shino, Hinata, Sasuke, and those are just off the top of my head. Unfortunately, caring about those characters didn't mean a damn thing when they were just relegated to the background, but at least Masashi Kishimoto could make me care about them in the first place. As the show went on, we'd get a group like the Akatsuki, where I didn't care about half of the characters.
Okay. I still do agree. Deidara was cool. Deidara is, unironically my favorite Naruto character of all time, and that's not a joke. Fight me. But no, the Akatsuki's not nearly as bad as I remember it. Like, Hidan and Kakuzu, they were cool. I mean, they weren't great, but they weren't terrible. Yeah, obviously I'm talking about, like, Toby Obito here. Oh, by the way, spoilers for, like, all of Naruto. But no, Mathwiz, keep going.
Characters. And then the Great Ninja War introduced an abundance of boring people on top of that. Sasuke's peons were forgettable at best, annoying at worst.
That at least, like, if there's any takeaway from this video, that still stands. Like, Sasuke's cronies, what is it, Taka, Hebi, they're all garbage. Doesn't matter if it's Jugo, Karin, the other one whose name I always forget, Suigetsu, they're all bad, in varying degrees. Like, Sasuke is the only good part of that team, because he's Sasuke.
And how about those reanimated characters? One of the core themes of Naruto is growing up, but Kishimoto stuck the future of his universe on the sidelines in favor of Madara and Hashirama. When I saw their story...
Okay. This actually wasn't as true as I remembered it being. I don't know if the anime, like, added in more filler with the fight between Madara and Hashirama, because in the manga, it's just kind of brushed aside, like, it happens in the background. So Madara and Hashirama don't really take center stage. Well, I'll let the video continue, because I do kind of say part of what
a tale that was part of Naruto's past rather than its present plays such an integral part in the modern conflict that was the Great Ninja War. It baffled me.
Yeah. Okay, this had to be like an anime-only fight, because I do not remember this happening in the manga. I do not remember them, like, going head-to-head like this, so that's got to be anime original, or... There's no way I would forget something like that, because if it's such a huge problem in this video, it's such a huge problem for me in the past, reading it in the manga, like, I would have noticed
Guys are dead! They shouldn't be at the center of attention. Do I recommend this show? No.
I did say in that little squabble that I did like the idea of Naruto's past. Like, that's the cool thing about Naruto, the way that they use the Edo Tensei, the reanimation, is that sort of the past can have an influence on the present, but it's also... They don't take center stage. Like, yeah, Madara was the main antagonist, so he was kind of a problem. But also you have Obito in there, who is kind of, you know, he is like a reflection of Madara's will, but also he's a reflection of Naruto. So there is a good generational aspect of the conflict at the end, and it's a type of conflict you can only really have through, like, manga, anime, just fiction in general, is to, like, actually... to show how the past shaped the future, and, like, show the future overcoming the past, like, to actually have past characters brought back to life or reanimated through the Edo Tensei, and actually have them clashing with the present-day characters. I do think that's a really cool idea, and I I wouldn't say that Kishimoto was necessarily, like, did a horrible job with it. The Edo Tensei did have its flaws. The Great Ninja War has its flaws, for sure. It just goes on for too long. There's too many unnecessary details involved. But for the most part, I think it's a solid arc. But yeah, it's not nearly as bad as I make it out to be in this video. It's not that bad, Mathwiz. Calm down. Calm down, Mathwiz.
No, I don't. For anyone who hasn't seen the series before, is the 700 episode plunge worth it? Absolutely not.
That I agree with. The manga, though, I do recommend that you read the manga. Just because as far as pacing goes, the Naruto anime is not paced very well. And I'm not just talking about filler material or anime original only. What am I saying? Anime only content. Just, like, episode pacing. Like, even if they're just straight adapting the manga, it's so stretched out. Like I said at the beginning of the video, that still stands. The Naruto anime does not have great pacing. That's true in part 1. That's true in Shippuden. It's not great. But do I recommend reading the whole story? Yes, the manga was good. I highly recommend anybody who was invested in Naruto to any degree. I do recommend checking out the manga. I do think that Naruto does have good ideas in there, good concepts. I think it executes at least a number of them pretty well. It's not perfect, definitely, but I think Naruto is a good, would you say like a litmus test? It's a good sort of something you can gauge the rest of shonen off of, because it does have obviously a lot of shonen tropes. It has a lot of what shonen is known for, but it also has a lot of what shonen is great for. When I say it has a lot of what shonen is known for, it's both good and bad. It has some of shonen's flaws, but it also has some of its strengths. And I do think overall, like, the total package of Naruto is a net positive. Like, I do think there's more to gain out of it than there is lost upon reading it.
I took the plunge, and while it was a badass experience for an introverted high school sophomore who is still fairly new to anime, to a guy who has now found dozens of other shows to connect with, it's mostly a bore. In saying that, though, there are moments...
Yeah, see, because I did go back and rewatch the first part of the Naruto anime. I tried to watch it with a friend, and that was like I forget if that was the second or third time I had rewatched the original Naruto, but yeah, the pacing is slow. It's a slog to get through in the anime. The soundtrack is great. Check out my video on the soundtrack, and then go listen to the soundtrack, and then maybe watch the anime if the soundtrack is interesting to you, because it's a great soundtrack. It's amazing.
That I can look back on and think, yeah, that was badass. Like that one time during the pain arc when Konohamaru, this snot-nosed brat, used the fucking Rasengan.
Yes!
If the show were to get a readaptation in 10 or so years, a la Dragon Ball Kai, and fix some of it...
Yeah, but Dragon Ball Kai is not a readaptation. That's just repurposing the same footage. That's not the same as a readaptation. But either way, like, Naruto gets a readaptation, it just gets repurposed like Dragon Ball. I'm fine with either, because Naruto does have good moments, and, you know, would like to see... more consistent production for it, but, it's whatever.
Its pacing problems, I'd check it out. Maybe I'd even watch a majority of it again. It's an average shonen action story, and while it's far from the best shonen, it nevertheless struck an emotional chord with me, and it got me thinking. If nothing else, I found a plethora of wonderful anime thanks to watching Naruto, and I can at least be grateful for that.
See, that's a fair note to end on. Like, yeah, even if I didn't think Naruto was great, at least it led me to other anime. And I generally try to have that sort of positive thinking towards anything that I watch, is that, like, even if I watch a show that I don't think is that great, I can still learn from it. Maybe it'll lead me to something else. So, like, with Naruto here, I was like, it wasn't worth it. Even though now I think it totally was worth reading. I still don't know if I'd go back and rewatch the entire anime, including Shippuden, including all the fillers. I don't know. That doesn't seem like the greatest investment of my time. But yeah, I mean, even if you find a show you don't like, maybe it leads you to something else. Like, I started with Sword Art Online. That was my first anime, knowing that it was anime. And that obviously led me to all these other shows. So, silver lining and everything. Why, hello there. You have unlocked the bonus track for today's video. And I just got a shipment of manga came in the mail. I don't have a problem. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a problem. There is nothing wrong. I do not have a problem here. Okay, maybe I do have a problem. I got 2 of the same volume! How did I do this? Ah! So let's jump to this Fuka video, which... I'm still not a huge fan of the Fuka video. like, at a point, I said it was one of my favorites that I had uploaded. I think in Let's Talk About Me, I said that, but I've done better. I've done a lot better than this video. It's gonna have the same problems being overly aggressive in tone, so I'll get that out of the way now. And it's overly negative. I don't like to be overly negative, but then again, for a video like this, if I'm gonna talk about a show's flaws, that's kind of unavoidable, I guess. There are a few nuggets in here that are worth salvaging, but you'll find that out.
On January 31st, 2017, I got a message from Crunchyroll.
Okay, this didn't take long. So, the premise that I start off with is that, oh, if you liked Your Lie in April, you'll love Fuka. I don't even like Your Lie in April anymore. It was a lot more flawed than I remember it being. Or at least, like, when I first watched it, a lot of things just sort of flew over my head. Like, yeah, this happens. Like, there's a lot of slapstick in Your Lie in April, which I never liked, but I was like, oh, but the rest of the show kind of makes up for it. Except that, like, the principle of what the slapstick is doing, like, basically just go watch Kraftsdorf's video comparing Rei from Sangatsu no Lion and the name Kosei from Your Lie in April, because there's just a lot of the slapstick, like the tone shifts in Your Lie in April, completely different purpose than what Sangatsu no Lion is going for with tone shifts, and that kind of sums up my thoughts on, just sort of putting that into perspective. Like, you think back on something you watched before and you just kind of shrugged it off, but then when you sort of recontextualize that, it's like, huh. But yeah, this premise is flawed, because it's implying that Your Lie in April was great, but I no longer think that, so yeah.
Crunchyroll that said, if you liked Your Lie in April, you'll love Fuka. Suffice it to say that this message was a lie. Nothing on the winter 2017 lineup that wasn't a sequel caught my attention, but the Your Lie in April comparison piqued my interest in Fuka.
No, that's actually not true. I did watch Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Might go back and watch Interviews with Monster Girls at some point, maybe Scum's Wish. But again, this was my perspective of, at the time of watching, because I don't always keep up with all seasonal anime. Sometimes I'll wait till the end of the season to figure out what's good. Continue.
After 11 minutes and 13 seconds of Fuka's first episode, I was completely done. This might not seem like much, as other anime analysts tend to drop shows like this all the time, but up until this point, I've been a hardcore completionist. I sat through 10 agonizing episodes of K-Project before I eventually gave up on it, and
You just contradicted yourself, you fool! Hardcore completionist, meaning, like, never dropped a show. But I dropped K-Project at 10 episodes, so, like, immediate contradiction. That's also not great. The point is that, like, I hadn't dropped many, if any, anime that early, but also I immediately contradicted with Keijo, which I dropped before actually even giving it a chance. So, like, what are you trying to say, Mathwiz here? What are you trying to say?
And although I did drop Keijo after barely a minute, I never really gave it a chance to begin with. I was fully prepared for Fuka to be the next Erased, Mob Psycho, or Yuri on Ice, the show of the season that would sweep me along for the ride regardless of its overall quality. Now I'm left.
Just to be clear, because some people misinterpreted that line, when I said Erased, Mob Psycho, and Yuri on Ice, I wasn't, like, I said regardless of quality, so it's not to say that they're all bad or they're all great. It's just like, at the time of watching it, I was along for the ride. Like, I was invested week by week. It had nothing to do with quality of any of the shows, which, obviously, I think Mob Psycho is the best out of those three, because I think it's amazing. Not so much with Erased, and Yuri on Ice was okay, but that's, yeah, I wasn't talking about quality here, just so, I don't know, some people misinterpreted that line, but then again, I guess I could have phrased it better.
Left wondering, what exactly did Fuka get wrong to make me detest the show this much? Well, folks, the best way to find out is to analyze it scene by scene. In the protagonist's introductory shot, we see him walking through a crowded street while staring at his phone. I'm already annoyed.
Starting off with a nitpick, that's not great, especially after what's already happened in this video. I do like the structure of this video, like breaking things down scene by scene. I think what I was trying to do was just, like, give people an idea of, like, what my headspace was, because I was like, this is why I dropped the show. So, like, I was giving everybody my perspective. So starting off with the nitpick, I guess made sense at the time. But no, I could have, like, given actual, like, reasons as to why the show wasn't good, like, why it was being constructed poorly or whatever. And then maybe gone back to the nitpick, but maybe I should have just left that out of the script.
by this boy. Moments later, we see a girl running in the opposite direction in a very short skirt. I know I'm nitpicking, but this show hasn't earned my trust yet. If the show can win me back, the nitpicks fall to the wayside. Blue-haired girl screams, "Out of the way!" and then jumps over a roadblock and straight into our protagonist. In the next shot, we see that she could have easily run around this barrier if she wasn't so damn impatient. I'm already annoyed by this girl.
And even then, like, that can show what her character is, that she is just sort of, you know, she just doesn't pay attention. She was in a rush. She's impatient. But yeah, again, I guess just trying to give my headspace. Not off to a great start. A lot of nitpicks still.
Bluehair tries to excuse herself by saying that her warning somehow legitimate.
Oh, by the way, I only made it 11 minutes into the episode, so I never got their characters' names. That's why I keep referring to it like Blue Hair and Shy Guy. Just because I didn't get far enough into the episode to know their names, so I'm sure that also makes me look
minimizes
great.
Her actions. At this point, we get our first panty shot of the episode. Shy Guy averts his gaze, and Bluehair triggers her inner tsundere. Since Shy Guy's too awkward to explain himself, Bluehair steals his phone and throws it on the ground. Then she slaps him, but we just have to get another panty shot in beforehand. Also, how is this justified? Shy Guy is a victim of circumstance here. You were the one who ran into him in the first place. I could maybe justify the slap, but property damage? Your recklessness puts yourself in the situation to begin with. And what about this guy? Why the fuck are you holding your phone like that? It's no wonder she thinks you're a pervert. Both of these characters are morons. What baffles me the most is the way that this scene is framed. The actions themselves play out like a standard rom-com, but nothing is framed in the over-the-top style that usually indicates, haha, this is a funny moment, wasn't that just hilarious? Instead, we get extra emphasis on how dramatic this scene is. There's no background music, and the sound effects are fairly straightforward. Instead of trying to punctuate comedy or emotion, the scene plays out like a regular moment in time. The crowd mumbles incoherent gossip in the background, and a few people even take pictures of our incapacitated protagonist. So, was this supposed to be emotional? It clearly wasn't meant to be funny, but these characters are too insane for me to take seriously. Cue the OP and the show is already...
Okay, I'm not sure if maybe I could have just phrased that better, because I still don't really know what the scene was going for as far as tone is concerned. I don't know. I'll let that slide,
already lost me. But let's adhere to my foolish assumption of surely things will get better, and keep watching. Strike one. The next scene introduces us to Shy Guy's family, and I'll be honest, this scene isn't nearly as bad as the first. Nothing about it stands out, but it doesn't outright offend me like the introduction did. Amid the exposition, we learn that Shy Guy spends more time on Twitter than he does with human beings, and we also learn that his sisters like to tease him. That's about it. We're now 7 minutes and 45 seconds into the episode, and I'm starting to think this show might actually pull me back in. We're doing this again. We are really doing this again? Panty shot number 3. Only this time, Shy Guy actually takes a photo.
Yeah, this scene is ridiculous. Anime, why?
So when Bluehair asks to see his phone... Wait. Now you're asking for his phone? Why didn't you do that in the first place? Were you in too much of a hurry to act like a human? If that's not the case, then why are you asking now? Oh, right. Because repeating the same exact scene would be boring, right, Fuka? Right, Fuka? Strike.
I mean, like, I don't disagree with my criticisms here. I just feel like I come off as such an asshat that, like, it's hard to take what I'm saying seriously. Because I'm just like, it's so aggressive, and, like, I'm ready to just I'm ready to, you know, box somebody here. Like, I'm ready for a fight in this video, and I hate that tone. That's why I try to avoid it anymore in my videos. I just don't like I don't like that aggressive tone. I don't like it unless it's like, I'm being intentionally comedic about it.
2. So now both characters have a stake in the conflict, which leads to a brief scuffle that ends with Shy Guy dropping his phone off of the building. He does nothing to explain himself, nothing to apologize. He doesn't even call her out for being a jerk the previous day. Instead, he drops his phone.
I mean, at least that part of his characterization was set up. Like, I just said that he spends more time on Twitter than he does socializing with real people. So I guess that makes sense why he wouldn't say anything, but I'm still not a big fan of it. It still feels
and immediately leaves to
unnecessary.
find it. Blue Hair decides to help him find his phone, and
But
the
that's
two
a-
have a
that's a
brief
personal
conversation that
preference,
tells us
rather
Blue
than,
Hair
like,
doesn't
a
have a
flaw.
phone, and she likes listening to CDs. That's about it. We are now 10.5 minutes in.
I'm sure this information would be important later on if I had finished the episode, but...
And this girl's half naked. Why is she half naked? It's her house, so I guess she doesn't care. That would complement what we saw of her during the second scene, I suppose, so I'll let this one slide. But this show hasn't given me anything to praise so far. My nitpicks from earlier haven't been balanced out either. Why am I still watching this fucking show? Now the little sister is half naked. This tells me nothing about her other than she might be an actual idiot. This is the kind of fan
What does
service
that
I
mean?
detest. It adds nothing to the story, and you can't even say that it's comedy for the sake of balancing out drama.
Okay, so, like, at least what I could have done here... Like, I don't disagree with my criticism, but also I feel like I could have just phrased it better, again. A big thing with this scene was that when Shy Guy walks into the room, he gets all, like, flustered because they're naked. So if the... Or, not actually naked, but, you know, half naked or whatever I said in the video. The thing about this scene is, like, if this is something that they do normally, like, if this is part of their routine, like, they just don't care, this is their house, so they do whatever. I don't think Shy Guy would react the way that he does, because, like, if this was just, you know, business as usual for this family, then he shouldn't have any need to be flustered, because this would happen over and over and over and over and over again. Like, you could say, well, maybe because he's still a guy, so he would be flustered that, you know, boobs. I don't think that makes sense, because, like, I mean, I guess it's also kind of embarrassing because it's, like, family, but I think that you'd sort of get desensitized to that over time. I don't know. I just feel like if that's what they were trying to go for with this scene, like, this is just part of their character that they just don't really care. I still think it could have been handled better, but I think a little addendum I would make, definitely kind of show, because if this was just, why would it be here otherwise? Like, if this is not part of their character, why is, obviously it's just to have fan service in there, and that's the fan service I don't care for. But again, like, if this is supposed to show this is what they are, then his reaction should be different. As it is now, it doesn't make
There
any
is no
sense.
drama. This team knows that their product sucks, so they're trying to bait me with pointless pandering. Now the old...
Okay, so one of the, like, ways I would defend myself in this video was that saying, oh, I'm not saying the show as a whole is bad because of this, because that's jumping to conclusions, at least for me, because I don't think I have the authority to make that claim. But, you know, saying that the producers know that the show sucks, you know, that's not a great way to, you know, try to get people on your side with your argument. Because here, again, it's just a matter of phrasing. Like, I didn't have to say that, because I wasn't trying to say in this video that, you know, the show as a whole is bad. Again, I'm just trying to convey why I dropped the show, why I see no potential in this show. But that doesn't really help the way I phrased it, because now I'm just saying, well, the show as a whole sucks, and the creators know it, and this first episode is just indicative that the whole show sucks. I mean, I have no reason to believe that the show gets any better from here. I mean, like, if you really want to go, like, oh, maybe episode 2 isn't as egregious as episode 1, but, like, what I still don't feel like I'm going to gain anything out of this show. It's not a show I plan on revisiting, but there are other ways I could have gotten that idea across, other than, like, the creators know the show
The
sucks.
oldest sister's barely clothed. Strike 3, I'm done. Shy Guy exits the scene, and I exit the episode.
That's clever. Yeah, that's the end of the video. So, yeah, my older videos aren't great, and I want to do better. I think I've gotten better. At the very least, I don't use that hyper-aggressive tone. But then again, when's the last, like, negative video I've made? Like, I've said negative things, like, in this, the Naruto filler video that I made a couple days ago. I had negative criticisms in there, while also, having positive things to say. But when I said those negative things, I don't think I was super, like, this is terrible, the worst thing to happen in the history of anime. I just need to not be that aggressive. Like, even though I have problems with how music influences a scene in Dragon Ball Z, I mean, at least the tone wasn't hyper-aggressive. Like, I was more subdued in that one, even though I think the criticisms that I made in that video it wasn't a complete video. It was incomplete, and I knew that publishing the video. Like, I knew going into it that, like, this isn't a full video, it's just a thought that I had. And I even said that in the video itself, but I don't know, the tone, at least, like, I'm not Like, this show is the worst thing in the history of anything ever. So yeah, that was my old, those were my old videos. If you want to watch them, you can. You kind of just did. With me, this video was way longer than I had intended it to be. Oh god. Oh no. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.